The sooner you realize this, the sooner you'll be married to your specific person. And no, I'm not kidding. So if you feel like you've been manifesting for a while and not getting the results you want, you're doing your techniques, you're feeling into the end, watching manifestation videos, but it's still nothing is working. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly why you feel that way, how to overcome it, so then you can manifest exactly what you want. So first, we need to remember that manifestation is not a physical process. When we are manifesting or becoming someone different, it actually has nothing to do with our physical reality. Now, first off, that is going to be a huge problem to our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind wants to act in our reality. It wants to force things. It wants a checklist of what to do in order to manifest our specific person. But the checklist only technically consists of one thing, and that's be the individual who already has your specific person. And that's literally the complete list. And so we're probably thinking, yeah, but I'm doing that, right? I'm manifesting. I've been in the state. I've been acting this out. What can I do extra in order to speed this up? And the way I want you to think about this is pull it away from your physical reality and focus or think of it more as a state of understanding. Because nothing is physical, it's all an understanding of the process, understanding that you can actually make a choice right now and be whoever you want to be. You are technically acting as a character in this current moment. Even though you feel you are you, it hasn't always felt that way. You haven't always been comfortable to act out exactly what you are doing. So you would say, how did you become who you are? And then once we answer that or know that, then we can become who we want to be. And you would say there's just a point in time in which you just said, this is who I am. That's what I do, and I'm always going to do this, right? We have these set of characteristics or our self-image that we want to stand up to or basically fulfill. And so with that in mind, because you just at one point chose that state, the same thing is actually happening right here and right now. And so I want you to imagine your manifestation like a lock, a padlock. And as soon as you get all the numbers correct, then the entire lock just opens. But before this point, even if you have 4 out of the 5 numbers, the lock isn't going to open even though you've come so far. And so right now, even though it seems like it's taking a long time or you have a long path ahead of you, you actually don't. It's just a simple idea, a simple understanding, or a simple decision that you're going to make that's going to open up that padlock and have everything come to you instantaneously. For example, we could be feeling like this along the way. And here's a comment that I got. They wrote, how come this hasn't worked for me this whole year yet? So implying that they need to take a long time in order to manifest what they want, or implying that they feel there's going to be a lot of time after this point before they're going to get their manifestation. And they would say the same exact thing. They would say, I've been doing everything correctly. I've been affirming. I've been visualizing all of this stuff. But if you're on you have 4 out of the 5 numbers of this padlock, it's not going to open. But the illusion and why we feel disheartened or feel like it's impossible to manifest is because you have right now 4 out of the 5 numbers, and it's just a simple idea or a simple shift in perspective that's going to make everything make sense, make it all click, and your manifestation is going to open up immediately. I've seen that not only in my own life, but in literally everyone I've ever coached. There's a moment in time in which we have this aha moment, and then everything floods in. Manifestation is not a linear process. So by linear, I mean moving up in a straight line, meaning over time, we're going to get the same amount of results upward. That's not the case. It's exponential, meaning you move over time and then immediately in a very short amount of time, everything basically always comes at once. And the funny thing is you can still have this illusion that it's not happening, even though it is in your reality, if you are thinking you have to take the same amount of time you put in in the future to get what you want. If you put in a year, a few months, a week to get what you want, you are not that same amount of time out from your manifestation, or even further. You most likely have 4 out of the 5 numbers on this padlock, and you just need a simple idea in order to shift, and then you quantum leap to that reality. That's exactly how we think of or know of quantum leaping, right? That's exactly what a quantum leap is, right? And if you were to say, how did I choose to be who I am right now? In the same way I mentioned previously, you would just say, oh, I chose it, right? You hit that 5th number on the padlock, and 5 is just a random example of numbers. I'm just picking and choosing. But you've hit that fifth number on the padlock, it opened up, and then that's who you are, right? That you would say, this is who I am and I don't want to be anyone else. But the same thing is happening with your specific person manifestation. For example, and I don't want to go into too much detail because we are most likely viewing our reality as much more negative than it actually is. Again, you have almost all of the numbers on the padlock to open, and it's going to be a simple idea in one of these videos that just unlocks it. Maybe even this idea is the reason or way in which your padlock opens. You assume the state and then manifest whatever you want, because the version of yourself that already has your specific person can't technically wait time in order to get their specific person. They already have them. And that example I like to use because Valentine's Day just happened. I had an individual who's thinking everything was not going great in their manifestation. I actually just talked to them today and they were not feeling fantastic in their manifestation. But when I asked about Valentine's Day, they said, oh, my specific person brought me flowers. They hung out with me all day. All good things, right? But still, they were under this assumption that it could have been better. And that could be one of the perspective shifts that we can have in order to open up this padlock and this door to an entirely new reality. Because I'm sure most people in this video or watching this would be like, I would love my specific person to hang out with me all day and bring me flowers on Valentine's Day. How much better could it get? But in the case of your reality, everyone kind of assumes or switches the state, or if they're not fully making that decision, makes their reality accidentally work against themselves. And in this video, I guess I have a couple success stories because there's another screenshot that I wanted to show you that showcases this exact same thing. When we make that switch, when we make and find that last number on that padlock, when you're moving it in like the old, I don't even know what those padlocks are called, but when you're twisting the numbers around and you finally get it and you hear that click, your whole reality will change. But this is a message I received after one of my coaching calls, and they were, okay, I have to give some background after, but we're okay, scratch that. She is literally blowing up my phone. So this person, she was manifesting her specific person, and at this point in time was worried about not receiving messages. But in the same way of that click, right, we spoke, something clicked within them. And then I love this message because they're like, okay, scratch that. She's blowing up my phone. And that's exactly the same experience you are going to have. And maybe it doesn't happen in an instant, right? That's okay. There's actually no problem with that. Even though you have the ability to change your entire reality right now, we still have to deal with the limiting beliefs or circumstances we feel are in our way. For example, I was also talking to someone recently who's imagining their specific person as being at a great distance, right? But they're wondering why their reality isn't changing. And it's only because we're imagining or holding them within our mind at a great physical distance, right? They're thinking that they're in another country or another state. And so with that mindset or thought process and subconscious belief, it would be hard for them to believe their specific person showing up right here and right now. So then, as well as all of this, that's just a click, a little switch in our mind to understand it's just because geographically you're imagining them as far, that's why they are staying far. And most of the time we wouldn't even think about that as occurring within our mind, right? We don't understand or realize that you're actually holding a geographical location of where your specific person is at in your mind. Like, for example, where is your specific person right now? Where are they at? Are they in the same town? Are they in the same country? Are they at their house? Are they at their work? Everyone would probably have some sort of answer. You maybe be like, I don't know, but in this vicinity. You kind of know where that is. But then in essence, if you want to overcome that distance, we can't hold that belief in the back of our mind. It's just a belief that's making no sense. And a belief like that can be something to overcome that last digit that you're putting into your padlock to then open it and have your entire reality shift. But I just wanted to reiterate this because this is really important. That's okay if it takes time or you're experiencing time in your manifestation. I wanted to say again, you have the ability and have already manifested your specific person. But if you're not experiencing that, there's no problem with that, right? Everything is this process and just needs that click. And that's okay. So if you're ever beating yourself up that all these people are manifesting, doing this, doing that, and I'm not, they're in the same boat as you just before they made that final click in their padlock. But we're just looking at them as soon as they make that click, right? You're only watching them as they're opening up their padlock, right? And the distance and time it takes to open up your padlock There is none. There's no required amount of time that you have to do to actually work out these numbers, right? And it takes just a simple moment. Something with great intensity or passion can open this up. I've experienced a few times in that reality, kind of the times in which you experience something and you're like, I'm never doing that again, right? It could be something very negative. Like even in The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle talks about that was his way to enlightenment. He was in such pain or distress that he switched it. Now, am I saying that you have to do that? No, we just need an intense emotion. It doesn't have to be a negative one. It could be a truly positive one. I've had switches in my reality or my state of consciousness by really intense, spiritually positive moments, and you can too. And you can start this just by thinking about what you're going to do when you're with your specific person, or thinking about what limiting beliefs that are not true, but we're holding within our mind, even if we're not even thinking about it. That can be that last padlock shift out of this reality and moving into the new one, because it happens so much faster than you could ever imagine. The amount of time you spend so far in your manifestation is not the amount of time you are going to take to get to where you want to go. It just takes a simple shift. And so in your mind right now, you can imagine yourself as just so close in the timeline to your manifestation, just around the corner, and that will geographically switch the location you feel you are in your mind. For example, where do you see yourself on the timeline to your specific person? Did you think before this video that you had to put in the same amount of time that you put in before? And honestly, if you did, that's okay, because now I'm here to tell you that you are so much closer than you could ever imagine. You're so close as to even say near is too far. That's what Neville Goddard would always say. And I would have to agree 1,000%. If you did have any questions on this, make sure to comment them down below. Remember, you can also reach out to me on my website if you want to send me a personal question, personal success, or reach out to me at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Thank you so much for liking this video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.